I should say, well, what is a data store? Because as I said, I think they're inextricably linked. You can call them data stores or data marketplaces. They're essentially a website or a cloud data platform that enables data providers and data consumers to exchange data in a frictionless manner. And I think the operative word here is frictionless. Today, there's way too much friction, even if you've got a data catalog, between the person who wants a data asset or a data product and the person who's providing it. At least that's what I've seen in my experience. So I think, in my humble opinion, if your goal is to produce data products, which I know that's the goal of a lot of companies now, I think you need a data store. But there is a problem here, and we'll get to that in a second. Why do you want a data store? Just to drill down a little bit, because I think it forces data producers to do a number of things up front. It forces people who create data assets to turn them into data products. And how do they do that? Well, first, they have to define upfront who can view and access the product, right? So define access rights. It forces them to think about how users want to use that product and subscribe to it, what they can consume for how long, at what frequency, how they want it to be delivered, the channels, the targets, the formats, the cost or the charge for the products, if any. Just because it's in a store doesn't mean you have to charge for it. In fact, most data products that are shared internally are probably not going to be charged for, although some may want to apply chargeback costs, but not all. There's going to be an implied contract, terms of use, what the consumers of these products, what are you going to allow them to do with that? Are you only going to allow them to use it internally? Can they use it externally? Can they create derivative products from it? Can they use the product to create commercial products? Terms of use. And then finally, a contract, terms of service. What if the product doesn't meet expectations or standards or predefined agreements? What happens then? So these are all things that the store kind of forces the asset creators to think about in advance before they publish. Now, there are many different types of data stores. There are external data marketplaces, which I think a lot of us know about. There's seller hubs, buyer hubs. And the thing that we really want to focus on today are these internal data marketplaces, which basically don't exist. And I'm going to make a case today that this is what the industry needs. This is what our industry is missing. Now, a lot of us are familiar with external data marketplaces. There's a lot of different types out there, as you can see here. Most of us are familiar with Amazon data marketplace in our space, right? But these are for external consumption of data products. They're not for internal data sharing within an organization. There are some data store platforms out there, not a lot. And most of them are geared to external data marketplaces right now, or seller hubs, people who provide data for a living and make money off that. What we don't see today yet, I'm just starting to see the trickle of interest in doing this, is platforms for delivering data stores. Now, there are a lot of potential places where we'll start to see internal data marketplaces or stores come from. Cloud data platforms like Snowflake and Databricks already have data marketplaces, not quite geared internally, kind of, sort of, but not great at it. I think data catalogs will be a natural play here, as well as data pipeline vendors. And some of the seller hubs like Harbor, Revelate, and Narrative are already realizing that maybe the biggest opportunity is not external marketplaces or seller and buyer hubs, but actually internal data marketplaces. So stay tuned. I think this is going to be an interesting area in the next couple of years.